Maybe the title of this video seems dramatic, and it might be, but we got to talk about this. As much as I don't want to drag things down, as much as I don't really want to do videos like this, this is something that we need to discuss, that the audiences of my videos and everybody's videos specifically related to the toy community on YouTube needs to know. We need to know this stuff. If you don't know what I'm referring to, this video is specifically about the FTC and Coppa and YouTube's handling of this going into the new year. I'm going to link to a news story from The Verge and a post that I put up on my Patreon page. That's a public post. If you guys want to get a little bit more information on exactly what's going on and why things are happening the way they're going. But we're going to go ahead and talk about it a bit in a nutshell and how that's going to affect me and a lot of other content creators here on this platform and really any platform. Basically what happened is last year YouTube was fined $170 million by the FTC, with the reason being that YouTube/Google was collecting data on minors, on kids under the age of 13 without parental permission. Now, the reason that YouTube and Google does this, or so they say the reason they do this, is in an effort to feed appropriate advertisements to a viewer. For example, if somebody is watching a whole bunch of videos that's about toys, let's just say a whole bunch of videos that are about kids playing with toys, the YouTube algorithm picks this up, assumes that the viewer is a child, and collects that data so that they can go to the advertisers and say, here's a string of kids probably watching these videos. Do you want to put your toy commercials here? So there's positives and negatives to this whole collecting data thing. I guess the positive, you can say, well, if a kid is watching a whole bunch of kids-related content on YouTube, hopefully that means they're not going to get served commercials for beer. On the flip side, you've always got that argument of, should we really be advertising to kids to begin with? Catch-22, right? It's the age-old argument, and it's exactly why this is getting so heated and so intense right now. Coppa, or Coppa, however you say it, C-O-P-P-A, you've probably seen those initials a lot in the last couple days, is the Children's Online Privacy Protection Act. And that is basically meant to keep things like this from happening to kids, to get to having kids' data collected without parents explicitly giving permission for that to happen. So YouTube, in an effort to combat this, in an effort to be compliant with Coppa, have rolled out some changes that they are putting into effect. What they are doing is they are putting this new system in place, a new algorithm that will now flag a video if they think it looks like it is aimed at children specifically. As content creators, we are also now responsible for marking said content. At the channel level, we have to say if our channel is made for kids or not. And then every single time we upload a video, we have to check a box that says, is this video made for kids? Is this video made specifically for audiences under the age of 13? Yes or no? Regardless of what we mark, YouTube is going to have an algorithm in place that's going to look for certain things, and they could flag your video as for kids anyway. And one of the big things that they are specifically looking for, toys. They are not establishing if the toy is an adult collectible or a toy made for little kids. They're not distinguishing between a 37-year-old talking about Masters of the Universe figures and his nostalgia, or a 7-year-old playing with toys on a video. If it's toys, they're putting it all under the same for kids category. This is obviously problematic for a lot of content creators like myself, but also for a lot of viewers out there. So let me explain real quick what's happening. When a video is marked for kids, the thing you're probably seeing the most is demonetization, right? A video marked for kids no longer has targeted ads on it. It only has contextual ads, which means that the ads are not specifically going to be targeted because they can't collect data anymore on that video. And the deal is that contextual ads are only about 10% of all of the ads on YouTube. 90% of ad revenue comes from targeted ads. So it's basically demonetized. Yeah, that sucks. Obviously, that sucks for content creators, especially the ones who really are earning a living off of this platform. But this is where things get worse, in my opinion. It's not just that. It's not just that videos are getting demonetized. If a video is marked for kids, it's losing comments. Comments are being shut off. That means no interaction with fans. Notifications are being turned off. That means even if you're a subscriber to a channel, you will not be notified of that video being uploaded. You won't. It will not be recommended, which means it will never get put into the algorithm, which means it will never be suggested to people as they're browsing YouTube looking for similar content. This is where a large percentage of views come from on videos, is being recommended and being searchable. That will be eliminated from 4Kids videos. On top of that, we're also going to lose end screens, meaning those little things at the end of videos that allow you to click to other videos. We risk losing the ability to live stream. We risk losing our community page, which is where I can put up like posts to my community so that they can see them. A whole bunch of features are going to disappear. And basically, a video that is marked for kids will not be able to be found unless you have the direct link to the video, or you are subscribed to the channel and you actually go into your subscriber feed and look for the content, or go to the content creators page looking for videos. You're not going to see these videos. You're not going to be notified of them. They're not going to show up and recommended. You probably won't be able to search for them. They are making videos that they deem for kids totally unfindable, which obviously poses a huge risk for somebody like me who's making content because I want people to watch the content. So let's just talk about my channel real quick and what all happened. So YouTube turned this on, and right now they just turned it on so that they can identify what's for kids and what's not. The actual changes don't go into effect until January. So come January, that's where all like the comments are going to get shut off, all that stuff. So they turned the system on, they went through my channel, and of course, I had several videos on my channel marked for kids. So let's talk about my content for a little bit. I've always had a wide variety of content here on this channel. I've always been a family-friendly channel by choice. I think it's really cool whenever I go out to these conventions and I meet people who come to the shows with their kids and they say, I love it that my kid can watch my videos, watch your videos with me. They're fans too. I think that's awesome. And I've covered a lot of toys that are kids' toys, or at least toys that kids would think were cool. Best examples of that, I covered Grocery Gang pretty intensely because I thought it was a cool toy line, and it reminded me of a toy line from my childhood called Food Fighters. I covered it, kids' toy line. I covered the entire Nickelodeon 2012 Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles line. You know why? Because I'm a huge Ninja Turtles fan. I loved that cartoon series. I enjoyed that toy line. That toy line was made for kids. So this is where questions really start to come at me. Am I supposed to mark that stuff for kids? I didn't make those videos specifically targeting little kids. I made those videos for everybody, including collectors like myself who enjoy buying those. And this is where things get murky because YouTube cannot distinguish, and they will not distinguish. They are not answering questions. They are not telling you what should and shouldn't be considered. Their answer is consult a lawyer. That's what they're telling us. Here's the reason why they're doing it that way. The FTC has said that they plan to come directly after content creators who are breaking the Coppa law. That means if the FTC thinks that your video is breaking the Coppa law, they will come directly to you, the content creator, and offer you a fine of $42,000 per video that they find in violation. That is life-ruining money. And YouTube is doing this. That's your problem, guys. They're backing off. They put this system in place to identify what they think is kids-related content to protect themselves and their bottom dollar, and they're throwing us out to the wolves of the FTC. Now, the FTC is still trying to figure out Coppa. Coppa came into effect when everybody's cell phones were still flip phones, before we all had smartphones, before streaming services like YouTube were a thing. Coppa is outdated. It does not take any of this stuff into consideration. And they know this, and they're working on it right now. They're still trying to define this rule, this act, this law. So YouTube is kind of doing that thing where they're definitely jumping the gun. They are overreacting probably, because we still don't know for sure how hard the FTC is going to come down on us, if they're going to come down on us. Now, I say that, but I also lived through when the government came down real hard on music downloads and made examples of people by coming after people who were downloading a couple songs and finding them huge money. So I would not put it past the government to do something like that just to make an example of us. So it's scary. It's very scary right now because we don't know how hard this is going to affect us. We don't know how hard this is going to affect the action figure community. We have no idea right now. So let's come back to my channel real quick. The self-identifier that YouTube put on my channel marked all of my Ninja Turtles videos as for kids. Even the collector stuff, even the stuff for NECA. Probably because Ninja Turtles itself was a giant flag for them. Most of my Masters of the Universe content got marked as for kids. Not all of it. It's super weird and hit and miss the way their system identified things. That one I felt was kind of unnecessary because most of those toys say the words adult collector right on the box. But I get it. I guess kids could be attracted to that stuff. So that's the way it kind of went on my channel. Now, all of my coverage of San Diego Comic-Con and New York Toy Fair stayed safe. None of it got marked. All of my toy hunting videos stayed safe. None of it got marked. All episodes of Toy Explosion stayed safe. None of those got marked. That all made me very happy because one of the things I was most nervous about was Toy Fair coming up in February. I was worried that people would not be able to see those videos. I'm still a little worried about that. But that's something that I want to continue doing. It's something I've spent the last 12 years of my life building. I'm not going to stop doing that. And hopefully YouTube doesn't get in the way of that. So I made the decision to go through my channel and individually decide what I felt was for kids and what I felt wasn't. I spent hours and hours and hours going through 3,500 videos. That's crazy. I've put up too many videos to decide if it was for kids or not. I decided to go ahead and leave all of the Ninja Turtle stuff, all the Nickelodeon Turtle stuff marked as for kids. That hurt. That hurt me. Because that means I'm basically banishing those videos away. They'll never show up in a search again. They'll never show up in the algorithm. It sucks because I spent so much time on those. I had a whole community of comments on that stuff, and it's going to go away now. I'm considering Masters of the Universe Classics as collector stuff. I didn't mark those. Most of my slime stuff got marked for kids. Grocery Gang. You guys see where I'm going with this. So, is that enough? I have no idea yet. And that's the problem. None of us know. We don't know what this is going to look like come 2020 and going into the future. The big debate right now with the FTC, with Coppa, is child-directed versus child-attractive. Because there is a difference. Am I making my videos for kids? Or do I happen to be talking about something that kids might like? And I think the intent of your video should matter in all of this, and I think that's the thing they need to clean up. That's the thing they need to clear up in this law. So the FTC is still working on this, and they are taking public comment on this right now. So I will also make sure I link in the comments, or in the description down below, where you can go and express your concerns to the FTC about this whole thing. So if you want to do that, it's something that you can do. So straight up, this sucks. this sucks. It's one of those things where you look at Coppa and you can understand where they probably had their heart in the right place. But it's not as black and white as they're making it, or at least how YouTube's making it. You can't just look at something with toys and say, that's for kids. You can't just look at animation and say, that's for kids. You can't look at comic books. You can't look at video games and just blatantly say, that's for kids. We've been fighting this battle for a long time, right? Toys are for everybody. There are a lot of adult toy collectors, just like there are a lot of adults who enjoy animation and comic books and video games. And the problem is that all of these things are at risk under Coppa, because if the FTC thinks that any videos about any of that stuff is aimed at kids, they might come after you. Toys just happens to be the thing that's at most risk right now, because toys, out of all of those things, are the things that are most looked at being for kids. And they are. But there's a lot of toys for us too. And this is what we have to hope that they realize, that they figure out, that hopefully gets cleared up over time, that there's some sort of measure put in place for. I just have no idea how long that's going to take or if it's going to happen. But we have to keep pushing forward. We have to keep fighting for this. The entire landscape of YouTube might be different come 2020, and I think that's the thing that everybody's just now starting to realize. You might see a lot of your favorite content creators disappear. Some of them might just give up entirely and leave the platform. Some of them might just get blocked by YouTube who think their videos are for kids, and all of a sudden you're just not seeing them fed to you anymore. This could happen to gamers. This could happen to people talking about comic books and cartoons, and it's especially going to happen to people talking about toys. And it's scary. So, where does that leave the Pixel Dan channel? Where does that leave me? I've been getting a lot of emails, a lot of messages, a lot of Facebook posts, Twitter, asking me if I'm going to stop, if I'm going to quit doing videos, if I'm going to disappear. And first of all, I want to say that I really appreciate that. It makes me feel really good that so many people are worried about me, and that so many people care about what I'm going to be doing from here on out. I'm really proud of this community that I've built here on this platform over the last almost 12 years now. I think it's been very positive. 90% of the comments are always positive. A lot of people, I've met a lot of people at shows and conventions throughout the years, who have said some very, very incredibly nice things to me. I've received lots of fan mail. I can't tell you guys how much I appreciate all of you and this amazing thing that we have built together here. With that said, I'm not going anywhere. They can try to put a stop to this, but I will find a way to move forward. I'm going to have to make some changes. Nothing lasts forever, right? You always have to adapt and push forward. That's life. That's the way business works. That's just the way things go. And while this has been pretty rough, this has been a little scary and soul-crushing and giving me a lot of anxiety because this is such a big change, I'm not gonna stop doing this because I love this. I'm proud of this. I'm passionate about this. And I'm going to keep being Pixel Dan no matter what. Like I mentioned, there probably will be some changes to my content just a bit. I am going to focus more on some of the more edited, more polished type content, which was a direction I was already heading anyway. Stuff like Toy-splosion is probably going to become a bigger focus, or more videos that are similar to how I do Toy-splosion. I'm going to have to be careful about the things I review, unfortunately. I will probably stick to a lot of the collector stuff. I will never, ever, ever stop talking about Masters of the Universe. No way. Turtles is going to be in there too, especially the NECA stuff. But you're never going to keep me away from Masters of the Universe, okay? I'm going to keep talking about that stuff. I will also absolutely continue the toy hunting stuff And without a doubt, I will continue to cover Toy Fair and San Diego Comic-Con, and I will make sure that we find a way that you guys see those videos. So you'll see some adjustments to the type of things that I'm doing individual reviews on. We're probably going to stop unboxings totally. It's a very kid-related thing, you know. Probably going to have to stop focusing on a lot of kid-made toy lines. So a lot more of the collector stuff or a lot more of the vintage stuff, I think, will be just safer bets. We'll see. Time will tell. We're going to have to see how it goes. So at this point, if you're wondering what you can do to help, just watching is the biggest thing. I never want to ask anybody for like money or anything like that. So if you're watching, that's fantastic. Hitting the subscribe button will help, because if they do deem my entire channel as for kids, you may not get notified anymore. So if you subscribe now, you'll always be able to go into the subscription tab, your feed, and see my videos there, hopefully. Or you can come to my channel to watch my videos. Follow me on social media, Twitter. I'm very active on Twitter, @PixelDan. I'll always tweet out my new videos there. I do have a Patreon account. Like I said, I'm never going to ask you to give me money, but the only tier I have on there is $1 a month. If you want to support me through Patreon, if you want to support any creator that you enjoy watching, and if you can do it, do it. Also, go ahead and follow that link to the FTC. Leave them a comment about how you feel as a viewer. Be honest. Don't curse them out. Write them a nice letter. Let them know. Let them know what's going on. And, I've got that book coming out, right? My Masters of the Universe toy book from Dark Horse is scheduled to be released summer 2020, and hopefully there'll be pre-order information soon. So I have other things, other projects that I'm doing. I'm going to write more books. I've already pitched a new one. I've got a third one in mind. I'm finding ways to pivot, guys. I'm finding ways to keep this going, but I want to keep this content here for you because I love this. I love you guys. This has been a big part of my life, and I'm so grateful that it's here, and they're not going to chase me away that easy. I will continue to be Pixel Dan as long as you guys will continue to have me and support me just by watching, hitting the like button, leaving a comment, whatever. I think that's really all I can say about this. So guys, thank you. I appreciate you all. And let's get back to some fun stuff. Enough of this sad stuff. Have a great week, everybody.